My son's wife said I should contribute, since I'm just living here. So I made her regret it. She said it during dinner. Casual, like she was commenting on the weather. Eleanor, don't you think you should contribute more, since you're just living here? Just living here. In the house I own. The house my late husband and I bought 40 years ago. The house I raised my son in. The house where every mortgage payment, every repair, every improvement came from my money. Just living here. I set down my fork, looked at my daughter-in-law, Ashley, at my son, David, sitting next to her, suddenly very interested in his plate. Contribute more? I said quietly. What did you have in mind? Well, you don't pay rent. You don't help with groceries much. And David and I are supporting this household. It only seems fair that you pitch in financially, since you're benefiting from living here. Since I'm benefiting from living in my own house, the house that's still in my name. The house they moved into 6 months ago when Ashley convinced David they needed to help me because I was alone. I didn't need help. I'd been managing fine for 3 years since Richard died, but Ashley had been relentless. You shouldn't be alone at your age, Eleanor. What if something happens? What if you fall? David would never forgive himself, so they moved in. To help me, to keep me company, to make sure I was safe, except now, apparently, I was just living here, a freeloader in my own home, and I should contribute. I smiled at Ashley. Sweet, pleasant, the smile of a woman who'd just decided something important. You're absolutely right. I should contribute more. Let me think about how to do that fairly. Ashley beamed. I'm so glad you understand. I know it's awkward to talk about, but we're all family. We should be honest about these things. David finally looked up. Mom, you don't have to. No, Ashley's right. I've been taking advantage. I need to contribute properly. Give me a few days to figure out the right amount. Take your time, Ashley said generously. We're not in a rush. We just want things to be equitable. Equitable. In my house that I own. That's paid off. That they pay nothing to live in. I excused myself from dinner, went to my room, and started making phone calls because Ashley wanted me to contribute, and I was about to contribute in a way she never saw coming, in a way that would teach her exactly what just living here really meant. My name is Eleanor Morrison. I'm 72 years old. 6 months ago, my son and his wife moved into my house to help me. Last week, my daughter-in-law told me I should contribute financially because I'm just living here. What she didn't know, what she never bothered to find out, is that this house is mine, fully paid off, worth $500,000. And I have the power to make her regret every single word she said. This is the story of entitlement, ignorance, and the perfect consequence that came from forgetting whose house you're actually living in. Let me start at the beginning so you understand exactly how we got here, and exactly what Ashley was about to learn. My husband Richard and I bought this house in 1985. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, beautiful neighborhood. We paid $90,000 for it. Sounds cheap now, but it was a stretch for us then. We raised David here, celebrated birthdays, holidays, graduations, built a life in these walls, paid off the mortgage in 2003, 20 years early because we made extra payments whenever we could. When Richard died 3 years ago, the house was worth $450,000. Now it's worth $500,000. Fully mine. No mortgage, no liens. Just my name on the deed. I'd been clear about that when David and Ashley got married 2 years ago. The house is mine. When I die, it'll be yours, David. But while I'm alive, it's my home. My decisions. David understood. Ashley seemed to understand too. Smiled, nodded, said she'd never dream of interfering with my home. Fast forward to 6 months ago. Ashley started campaigning for them to move in. Eleanor, you're 72. Living alone isn't safe. What if you fall in the shower? What if you have a medical emergency? We worry about you constantly. I'm fine. I have friends, neighbors, a medical alert system. I don't need live-in help, but we want to be here for you. And honestly, it would help us too. Rent in this city is crazy expensive. We're paying $2,500 a month for a tiny apartment. If we lived with you, we could save that money. Start building toward buying our own place eventually. There it was. The real reason. Not helping me. Saving money. But I thought, why not? The house is big. I'm alone. Having David around might be nice. And they're young. Trying to save. I can help. So I said yes. With conditions. You can move in, rent-free. But the house rules are mine. My house. My decisions. And you contribute to groceries and utilities. Fair? Absolutely! Ashley hugged me. This is so generous. We'll help with everything. You won't regret this. The first month was fine. They moved into the largest guest room. Kept to themselves mostly. Contributed $200 a month for utilities and groceries. Month 2, Ashley started making suggestions. Eleanor, have you thought about updating this kitchen? It's very dated. It works fine. But modern kitchens add so much value. If you updated, the house would be worth even more. I'm not selling. And I like my kitchen. Just a thought. Month 3, the suggestions became more frequent. About furniture, decor, my daily routine. Eleanor, you watch TV pretty loud. Could you keep it down after 9? We're trying to sleep. I'll use headphones. Or maybe get a TV for your bedroom. Then you wouldn't bother anyone. Buy a TV for my bedroom. In my house. So I wouldn't bother the people living here rent-free. But I stayed calm. Accommodating. Because they were family. Because I didn't want conflict. Month 4, Ashley started referring to rooms as ours. The living room became our living space. Or the kitchen became our kitchen. The backyard became our yard. When I corrected her, "It's my house, Ashley," she laughed. "Of course. I just mean we all live here together. It feels like our home, too." Month 5, Ashley started inviting people over without asking. "Some friends are coming for dinner Thursday. That's okay, right? In the future, please ask first." "Oh, I didn't think I needed permission. It's not like we're guests. We live here. We live here. Not I live here and you're graciously letting us stay. We live here. Like it was theirs." And then, month 6, came the dinner conversation. The contribute conversation. The conversation that made me realize Ashley didn't see herself as a guest in my home. She saw herself as a co-resident who was generously supporting me. She thought she was doing me a favor. Thought I should be grateful. Thought I was the one benefiting from this arrangement. She had no idea that she was living rent-free in a $500,000 house. That she was saving $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year by being here. That the contribution she was demanding from me was laughable compared to what she owed in market-rate rent. She didn't know because she'd never asked, never bothered to find out who actually owned the house. Just assumed, and her assumptions were about to cost her everything. The next morning, I called my attorney. "Gerald, I need to discuss my property rights, specifically what I can and cannot do with tenants in my house. Are David and Ashley causing problems? Ashley thinks she's supporting me by living in my house rent-free. She asked me to contribute financially because I'm just living here." Silence. Then, "She said that? In your house?" "Yes. Eleanor, you own that house outright. You can evict them with 30 days' notice. You can charge them market-rate rent. You can do whatever you want. It's your property." "What if I want to make a point first, before taking legal action?" "What kind of point?" I told him my plan. He laughed. Actually laughed. "That's brilliant. And completely legal. Do it." Next, I called a property management company. "I'd like to know the market rate for renting my house. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. Excellent neighborhood." They did comps. Called me back. Based on comparable properties, you could rent it for $3,500 to $4,000 a month. $3,500 minimum. Ashley and David were living here free, saving $42,000 a year minimum. And Ashley thought I should contribute. I spent the next 3 days documenting everything. Every improvement I'd made to the house. Every utility bill I'd paid. Every property tax payment. Every insurance payment. Everything that proved this house was mine, and I was covering all the actual costs. Then I created a spreadsheet. A beautiful, detailed spreadsheet showing exactly what contributing actually looked like in this house. On Saturday, I called a family meeting. Ashley, David, we need to talk about finances. You were right, Ashley. We should be equitable about contributions. Ashley smiled, probably thinking I was about to offer to pay her money. I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. Oh, I'm being very reasonable. Let me show you what I've calculated. I pulled out the spreadsheet, put it on the dining table, started walking through it line by line. Here's what it cost to maintain this house monthly. Property taxes, $600. Insurance, $200. Utilities, $300. Maintenance and repairs, averaging $200. Total, $1,300 per month that I pay. David's face was changing, understanding dawning. Ashley still looked confident, waiting for the part where I contributed more. Now, market rate rent for a house like this is $3,500 to $4,000 a month. Let's be conservative and say $3,500. You two live here rent-free. That's a $42,000 annual benefit. But let's talk monthly. $3,500 in free rent, minus the $200 you contribute for utilities and groceries, means you're benefiting by $3,300 per month. Per month. Ashley's smile was fading. Well, yes, but we're also helping you. Helping me how? I maintained this house alone for 3 years. I managed fine. You moved in because you wanted to save on rent, which is fine. But let's be honest about who's benefiting from this arrangement. We keep you company. We make sure you're safe. I have friends, neighbors, a medical alert system. I don't need supervision. What I was providing was free housing. What you're providing is... What exactly? Your presence? David spoke quietly. Mom, we didn't realize that this is my house, that I own it, that I pay all the actual costs while you live here free. What exactly didn't you realize, David? Ashley said you'd mentioned wanting help. Help, not financial support, not rent. Help, which I didn't actually need but agreed to because I thought it would be nice to have you around, and because I wanted to help you save money. But now Ashley thinks I'm just living here and should contribute financially in my own house that I own, that you pay nothing to live in. Ashley was red-faced. You could have told us you own the house. I did. When you got married, I said specifically, this house is mine, and when I die, it'll be David's. You were there. You nodded. Remember? Silence. Because she did remember. She'd just chosen to forget, or to reinterpret, or to decide that my ownership didn't matter because they lived here too. So, here's what's going to happen, I continued. You wanted to talk about contributions. Let's talk. Starting next month, you'll pay rent. Market rate, $3,500 a month. Or you can move out. Your choice. $3,500? Ashley's voice cracked. We can't afford that. That's what this house would rent for on the open market, but you're right. That seems steep, so I'll give you a family discount. $2,000 a month. That's still 40% below market rate. Still a great deal. Still saves you $500 a month compared to your old apartment. But it properly reflects the value of living in a $500,000 house. $2,000 is still... We can't. That's not fair. What's not fair is you telling me to contribute financially in my own house. What's not fair is you treating me like a freeloader. What's not fair is you forgetting whose property you're living in. $2,000 or move out. You have until the 1st of next month to decide. I stood up, left the spreadsheet on the table, went to my room, and waited, because Ashley wanted equity, and I'd just given her exactly that. If you've ever been disrespected in your own home, had someone forget whose property they're actually in, whose generosity they're benefiting from, you know this anger. Share your experience in the comments, and if these stories of entitlement and consequences resonate with you, please subscribe to Lindsay Stories. The next 3 days were silent. Ashley wouldn't speak to me, would leave a room when I entered, would whisper to David when they thought I couldn't hear. I heard some of it. Your mother is being unreasonable. We were just trying to make things fair. $2,000 a month is outrageous. David defended me some. Ashley, she owns the house. She's been letting us live here free for 6 months. That's $18,000 in rent we didn't pay. Maybe we were the unreasonable ones. We were helping her. Were we? Or were we helping ourselves by saving rent money? Their relationship was cracking. Good. Maybe David was finally seeing his wife clearly. On day 4, Ashley approached me, stiff, formal. Eleanor, can we talk? Of course. I think I may have been unclear about the living arrangement. I didn't mean to imply you weren't contributing. I just thought maybe we could all pitch in more equally for groceries and things. That's not what you said, Ashley. You said I should contribute more because I'm just living here, in my house, that I own. I know. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Did you? Or did you genuinely believe you were supporting me? That you were doing me a favor by living here? Long pause. I thought we were helping each other. You get company. We save money. Everyone wins. Everyone does win. When it's honest. When everyone understands the reality. But you weren't honest. You redefined reality to make yourself the generous one, and me the beneficiary. That's not a misunderstanding. That's rewriting facts. I said I'm sorry. Apology noted. Rent is still $2,000 starting next month. Or you can find other housing. Those are the options. Can't we negotiate? Maybe $1,000? That's more manageable. Ashley, $1,000 is less than half market rate. $2,000 is already generous. It's 40% below what I could charge strangers. The only reason it's that low is because you're family. But it's not negotiable. $2,000 or leave. She left without answering, probably hoping I'd change my mind, hoping David would convince me to back down, hoping this would blow over. It wouldn't, because I'd learned something important. Ashley didn't respect me, didn't value me, saw me as an obstacle or a resource, not a person, and I was done accommodating that. Day 7, David came to me alone. Mom, can we compromise? Ashley's really stressed about the rent. I'm offering 40% below market rate. That is the compromise. But we can't afford $2,000. We're trying to save for a house. David, you're 28 years old, married, working full-time. If you can't afford the $2,000 in rent, which is below market, then you can't afford to live in this city. That's not my problem to solve. We were saving so much living here free. Exactly. Living free. In my house. For 6 months. You saved $18,000. That's a huge head start, but it can't last forever. I'm not a free housing charity. I'm your mother, offering you below market rent because I love you. But I'm not funding your life indefinitely, while Ashley disrespects me. She didn't mean... Yes, she did. She absolutely meant it. She'd convinced herself that she was supporting me, that I was lucky to have her here, that I owed her gratitude and financial contribution for the privilege of living in my own home. Don't defend her, David. It's insulting. What am I supposed to do? Pay the rent? Or find somewhere else to live? Those are your options. And David, you need to decide if you're okay with how Ashley treats me, because that's going to be your life, forever. Her seeing herself as superior, entitled, always the victim when she doesn't get her way. Is that what you want? He didn't answer, just walked away looking defeated. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered, just living here, and my sympathy evaporated. Day 10. Ashley made one more attempt, this time with tears. Eleanor, please. We can't afford $2,000. We'll have to move. Start over. Lose all the savings progress we made. Please reconsider. You didn't lose progress. You saved $18,000 in 6 months. That's excellent progress. But if we move, we'll be back to paying $2,500 in rent. We'll barely save anything. Then find a cheaper apartment. Get roommates. Live further out. Make the choices adults make when they can't afford their preferred lifestyle. I can't believe you're doing this. Over one comment. Over one comment that revealed your entire attitude toward me. You don't respect me, Ashley. You see me as a resource to manage, not a person to value. That one comment showed me everything I needed to know. That's not true. I care about you. You care about free rent. You care about saving money. You care about the benefits I provide. But you don't care about me. If you did, you'd never have said what you said. Never have implied I was a freeloader in my own home. Never have demanded I contribute financially while you live here for nothing. I made a mistake. Yes, and mistakes have consequences. The consequence is you now pay market value rent or leave. Those are the options. The deadline is in 3 weeks. Decide. Day 14, 2 weeks before the deadline, Ashley and David started looking at apartments. I know, because David told me. We're going to move out, Mom. We can't afford $2,000. That's your choice. Ashley's really hurt by this. Ashley hurt herself. I'm just responding appropriately. Will you ever forgive her? Maybe. After she actually understands what she did. After she genuinely apologizes. Not because she wants free rent back, but because she realizes she was wrong. After she treats me with respect. Maybe then. What if we move out and never speak to you again? Then I'll know who you both really are. And I'll be sad, but I'll survive. I survived losing your father. I'll survive losing you if I have to. But I won't survive staying in this toxic dynamic where I'm disrespected in my own home. I won't do that. Day 15. Something unexpected happened. David came home without Ashley. We had a fight. She's at her mother's. About you. About the rent. About everything. I told her what you said. That she doesn't respect you. That she sees you as a resource. She denied it. Got defensive. Said you were manipulating me. We fought. Bad. She left. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you glad we're fighting? David, I'm not glad about anything that hurts you. But I'm also not going to pretend Ashley's behavior was okay, just to keep the peace. She was wrong. If you can't see that, if you're going to defend her treating me like a freeloader in my own house, then yes, maybe you should both leave. I love you. But I love myself too. And I'm done being disrespected. He left, angry, confused, torn between his wife and his mother. I felt terrible, but also resolved. This needed to happen, one way or another. Day 20, Ashley moved out, took all her stuff, left David's stuff behind. She'd gone to her mother's temporarily, but now it looked permanent. David stayed, quiet, withdrawn, working long hours, barely speaking to me. I gave him space, but I also clarified, David, you staying here doesn't mean free rent anymore. You'll still need to pay, not the full $2,000. That was for both of you. But $1,000. Fair? Fine. I'm not trying to punish you. I know. Ashley was wrong. I get it. But she's my wife, and now she's gone. And I don't know how to fix this. Do you want to fix it? Or do you want to fix the relationship you thought you had? What's the difference? One is real. One is fantasy. The real Ashley thinks she's entitled to free rent and sees me as beneath her. The fantasy Ashley is sweet and grateful and respectful. Which one exists? I don't know anymore. Figure it out, because your future depends on it. Day 25, 5 days before the deadline. Ashley called me. Eleanor, can we meet? Just you and me? We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Ashley looked tired, older, stressed. I came to apologize, really apologize. Not because I want something, but because I was wrong. I'm listening. I took advantage of your generosity. I convinced myself we were helping you when really you were helping us. And when you didn't fall all over yourself with gratitude, I got resentful. I decided you should contribute more, should pay your way, in your own house. That was insane. I see that now. What changed? Living with my mom, paying her rent. She's charging me $1,200 for a bedroom, realizing what housing costs, understanding what we were saving. And my mom asked me, did Eleanor charge you rent? When I said no, she said, then you were guests. Guests don't ask the host to contribute. That's backwards. It hit me. Really hit me. So you understand now. I understand I was entitled, disrespectful, wrong. And I'm sorry. Genuinely sorry. Not to get free rent back. I know that's over. But because I owe you an apology, you were generous. I was ungrateful. That's the truth. Thank you for saying that. Does this mean you'll consider lowering the rent? Maybe back to free or... No. Her face fell. But I apologized. And I accept your apology. But apologies don't erase consequences. You disrespected me. You learned a hard lesson. I'm glad you learned. But that doesn't mean everything goes back to how it was. You lost the privilege of free rent. That's gone. So we can never live there again? I didn't say that. But if you do, it'll be as paying tenants. $1,000 each, $2,400 total. Actually above market because trust is expensive. And you'll sign a lease, with terms, and consequences for breaking those terms. And if you ever suggest I should contribute financially in my own home again, you're evicted. Immediately. No discussion. That's harsh. That's fair. You want generous? That was the first 6 months. You squandered that. Now you get fair. Take it or don't. I need to think about it. You have 5 days. After that, I'm renting to someone else. I've already had the property management company list it. I have 3 interested parties, all willing to pay $3,000 a month. So decide fast. She left, probably crying, probably thinking I was cruel. I didn't care. I'd been more than generous. She'd responded with entitlement. Now she got consequences. Day 30, deadline day. Ashley and David came to me together. We want to rent from you, $2,400 a month. Sign a lease. Do it properly. Why? Because we can't find anything this nice for less than $3,000. Because you're offering below market. Because we're idiots who almost lost a great deal. Because Ashley finally gets it. Because I'm tired of living separately. Because we want to try again. With clear terms. With respect. Will you give us another chance? I thought about it. Looked at Ashley. If I let you back in, things are different. This is my house. I make the rules. You're tenants. Paying tenants. You get housing in exchange for rent. Not free reign. Not decision-making power. Not ownership feelings. You're renting a space. That's all. Can you handle that? Ashley nodded. Yes, I can handle that. I'm sorry it took me this long to understand. If you disrespect me again, if you ever suggest I should contribute or imply this is your house or treat me like I'm in your way, you're evicted. 30 days notice. Gone. Do you understand? Yes. David, do you understand? This isn't your childhood home anymore where you had free reign. This is my house that I'm renting space in. You're a tenant, not a son living at home. A tenant. Can you handle that? Yes, Mom. I understand. Then we'll sign a lease. 1 year. $2,400 a month. First and last month up front. Security deposit of $2,400. You pay all utilities except water and trash. I keep control of all house decisions. You're respectful tenants or you leave. Deal? Deal. We signed the lease. They moved back in. Paid the first payment. $7,200. Money I deposited immediately. Things were different. They kept to their space. Asked permission before having guests. Checked with me before making any changes to their room. Treated me like a landlord. Politely, respectfully, distantly. It was better. Not warm. Not like family. But better. Because respect beats false warmth every time. 6 months later, Ashley approached me while David was at work. Eleanor, can I talk to you? Of course. I've been thinking about what happened. About how I treated you. And I realize I was threatened. Threatened? By what? By you. You're strong. Independent. You don't need anyone. You managed fine without us. And I think I needed you to need us. To validate our being here, to make me feel important. So I invented this narrative where we were helping you. Supporting you. And when reality didn't match that narrative, I got resentful. That's very self-aware. Therapy helps. I've been going, working through why I need to feel needed, why I create hierarchies in my head, why I devalue people to elevate myself. It's not pretty, but I'm learning. I'm glad. I don't expect us to be close. I know I damaged that possibility, but I want you to know. I get it now. I understand what I did, and I'm working on being better. Not to get free rent back, not to manipulate you, just to be a better person. Because what I did was ugly, and I don't want to be that person anymore. Thank you for telling me that. You were right to charge rent, right to set boundaries, right to demand respect. I hated it at the time, but it forced me to see myself clearly, and that was a gift. A painful gift, but a gift. 1 year after the original contribute comment, David and Ashley moved out. They'd saved enough for a down payment on their own place. Small house, starter home, but theirs. Thank you for letting us rent from you. David said as they packed. "We saved $24,000 this year. That's our down payment. You saved because I charged below market rent in a fair exchange. That's how it should have been from the beginning. I know. I'm sorry we didn't see that initially. You do now. That's what matters." Ashley hugged me goodbye. Real hug, not perfunctory. "Thank you, Eleanor, for teaching me what I needed to learn, even though I hated the lesson." "You're welcome." They left. I had my house back, fully mine, empty, quiet, perfect. I didn't rent it out to strangers, didn't need the money, just enjoyed having my space back, my rules, my peace. 2 years after the contribute comment, Ashley had a baby, my first grandchild. She asked if I'd come stay for a week to help. "Not for free," she clarified. "I'll pay you. Your time is valuable." I laughed. "Ashley, I'm your mother-in-law. You don't pay me to visit my grandchild. But your time is worth money. Family helps family. For free. When it's genuine. When it's appreciated. When it's reciprocal. This is that. I'll come help. No charge." I stayed a week. Helped with the baby. Cooked meals. Did laundry. Supported them. And Ashley was grateful. Genuinely grateful. Said thank you. Meant it. Treated me like a gift, not a resource. We're not best friends. Never will be. But we have mutual respect, clear boundaries, honest relationship. That's better than false family warmth built on resentment. My name is Eleanor Morrison. I'm 74 now. 2 years ago, my daughter-in-law told me I should contribute financially because I was just living here in my own house that I own. I charged them market rate rent. They moved out eventually, learned a hard lesson, bought their own place, and now treat me with the respect I should have had from the beginning. She regretted saying I should contribute. Took her months to understand why it was so wrong. But she got there, and she's better for it. Share this if you've been disrespected in your own home. Comment if you've had to charge family rent to teach them respect. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of entitlement and consequences. She said I should contribute since I'm just living here. I made her regret it, and taught her what ownership really means. That's everything. What I haven't fully explained yet is what those 10 days between the spreadsheet presentation and their decision were really like. The tension, the manipulation attempts, the way Ashley tried every tactic to avoid facing reality. Day 1 after the spreadsheet, Ashley tried the silent treatment, wouldn't speak to me, would turn and leave when I entered a room, expected me to feel guilty, to apologize, to back down. I didn't. Just went about my day, cooked my meals, watched my TV, lived in my house like I'd always done. Day 2, Ashley tried going through David. I overheard the conversation from my room. "David, you have to talk to her. $2,000 a month is insane. We can't afford that." "Ashley, it's 40% below market rate." She showed us the comps. "We're getting a deal." But we were getting a better deal before, free, which we took advantage of. And then you told her she should contribute financially, in her own house. I was trying to make things fair. Fair would have been us paying rent from the beginning. Fair would have been us recognizing we're living in a $500,000 house for free. Fair would have been gratitude, not demands. Whose side are you on? The side of reality, Ashley. Mom owns this house. She can charge us whatever she wants. Or kick us out. We have no power here. We never did. We just forgot that. So you're just going to let her bully us into paying. She's not bullying us. She's charging reasonable rent after we disrespected her. That's called consequences. Day 3, Ashley tried to rally family support. She called David's aunt, my sister-in-law. I know because Margaret called me after. "Eleanor, Ashley called me. She says you're charging them rent. Is that true?" "Yes. $2,400 a month for both of them. Below market rate. But they're family. Family who told me I should contribute financially in my own house. Family who've been living here rent-free for 6 months, while I pay all the actual costs." She didn't phrase it well, but maybe she had a point about sharing expenses. "Margaret, whose house is this?" "Yours." "And who pays the mortgage, insurance, taxes, and maintenance?" "You do, but..." "And what exactly are David and Ashley paying?" "I don't know. 200 something?" $200 toward utilities and groceries, while saving $2,500 in rent, $30,000 a year. And Ashley thinks I should contribute more. Tell me how that makes sense. Silence. When you put it that way, there's no other way to put it. Ashley was entitled and disrespectful. I'm correcting that. If you want to let them live with you rent-free, feel free. Otherwise, stay out of it. She didn't call Ashley back to support her. The family rallying failed. Day 4, Ashley tried a different approach, came to me with printed listings. Look, Eleanor, I found apartments for $1,500 a month, 1 bedrooms. If we move there, we'll save compared to your $2,000. Then move there. But they're small, and not in as nice neighborhoods, and don't have washer-dryer in unit. And they're what you can actually afford, which is fine. Lots of people start in small apartments. That's normal. But we've gotten used to having space and a nice area. And now you have to pay for those things. Either here at below market rate or somewhere else at market rate. That's how housing works, Ashley. You pay for what you get. Why are you being so harsh? We made one comment that revealed your entire mindset. You don't see this as my house where you're guests. You see it as your home where I'm, what? An inconvenient co-resident. Someone who should pay my way. Ashley, do you genuinely not understand how offensive that is? I understand you're mad. I'm not mad. I'm done. Done with being treated like I don't matter in my own home. Done with your entitlement. Done with your manipulation. You want to stay? Pay rent. Want to leave? Leave. But I'm done with the in-between where you pretend you're doing me a favor. Day 5. Ashley's mother called me. This was the escalation I'd been expecting. Eleanor, this is Linda, Ashley's mother. We've never spoken, but I felt I should reach out. Hello, Linda. Ashley tells me you're charging her and David an exorbitant rent, $2,400 a month. That seems excessive for family. The market rate for this house is $3,500 to $4,000. I'm offering a 40% discount because they're family. How is that excessive? But you're living there too. Shouldn't you contribute to the household expenses? I own the house. I pay property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. What exactly should I contribute beyond providing the actual house? Ashley says she and David are the ones supporting the household financially. Linda, with respect, Ashley is lying. Or profoundly confused. This is my house. They've lived here free for 6 months. That's $18,000 in saved rent. I've supported them, not the other way round. But you're older. You should appreciate having young people around to help you. Help me do what? I'm 72, not 92. I'm in perfect health. I managed alone for 3 years before they moved in. I don't need help. I was offering help, free housing to help them save money. They twisted that into thinking they were helping me. That's delusional. You're being cruel to my daughter. I'm being fair. If you think $2,400 is cruel, I'll let it to strangers for $3,500. Would that be better? She hung up, probably went back to Ashley and reported I was unreasonable. Fine. I didn't need Linda's approval. Day 6, David approached me again. This time, more serious. Mom, we need to figure this out. Ashley's stressed to the point of making herself sick. Can we compromise somehow? What kind of compromise? Maybe we pay $1,000 a month instead of $2,000 and help more around the house? Like a combination of rent and work? David, I don't need help around the house. I've been managing fine. And $1,000 is less than half market rate. That's not fair to me. But it's affordable for us. That's not my problem. Affordability is your problem. I'm offering below market rent because you're family. But I'm not running a charity. $2,000 or find somewhere else. Those are the options. What if we can't afford either? What if we literally cannot pay $2,000? Then you can't afford to live in this city at your current income, which means you need to increase income, second jobs, better jobs, whatever. Or decrease expenses in other ways. Maybe sell 1 car. Maybe stop eating out. Maybe cut subscriptions. Make the choices adults make when they can't afford their lifestyle. This will destroy my marriage. No, David. Your marriage is being destroyed by Ashley's entitlement. And you're enabling. I'm just the catalyst exposing what was already there. If your marriage can't survive her learning to respect me and pay fair rent, then it's not a healthy marriage. That's not my fault. He walked away, and I felt terrible. My son was in pain. But I also knew this wasn't my pain to fix. This was their relationship, their finances, their choices. I could feel sympathy without rescuing. Day 7. Ashley tried one more time, this time with actual tears. Real crying, sitting at my kitchen table with her head in her hands. Eleanor, please, I'm begging you. We can't do $2,000. It'll break us. We'll have no savings, no future, no hope of ever buying our own place. Please reconsider. I sat down across from her, spoke gently but firmly. Ashley, you've saved $18,000 in the past 6 months by living here free. That's a massive head start toward a down payment. Most people don't get that gift. But if we start paying $2,000, we'll lose that progress. You won't lose it. You'll just save slower. Like most people. Welcome to normal adult life. Why are you punishing us for one comment? I'm not punishing you. I'm stopping the privilege of free rent after you revealed you don't appreciate it. There's a difference. I do appreciate it. I just thought, you thought wrong. And now you're facing the consequence of that wrong thinking. Ashley, do you want to know what would have happened if you'd never made that comment? What? You'd still be living here free. I was happy with that arrangement. Truly happy. I liked having David around. I even liked having you around most of the time. I was content to let you save money rent-free for another year. Maybe 2. However long you needed to get enough for a down payment. But then you implied I was a freeloader in my own house, and that changed everything. Because it showed me you don't value me. You value the free rent. And once I knew that, I couldn't continue the arrangement. I do value you. No, Ashley. You value what I provide. That's different. And I'm done providing it without respect. So you pay rent, or you leave. Those are the options. Decide by day 10. She left. Still crying. Still thinking I was being cruel. Still not understanding that she'd created this situation herself. Day 8. I got an unexpected visit. A property manager from the company I'd contacted. Mrs. Morrison, I wanted to follow up. You'd mentioned potentially renting out your house. We have 3 very interested parties, all pre-qualified, all willing to pay $3,500 a month, 12-month leases. If your current occupants are leaving, we can have the house rented within a week. Current occupants might be staying. They have 2 more days to decide. If they do leave, you'll let us know? This is a hot property. We could get you $42,000 a year. That's substantial retirement income. I'll let you know. Thank you. After she left, I thought about it. $42,000 a year versus $28,800 from David and Ashley. $13,000 difference. Was family worth $13,000 a year in lost rent? Maybe. If they were respectful. If they appreciated the discount. If they treated me well. But if they didn't, if this relationship was toxic and stressful, then no, not worth it. I let the decision rest with them. If they chose to pay the rent, I'd know they valued staying. If they chose to leave, I'd know they valued money more than relationship. Either way, I'd have my answer. Day 9, David came to me, alone again. Mom, I need to understand something. Why did this bother you so much? The comment about contributing. Why did it hit so hard? I thought about it, decided to be completely honest, because it revealed how Ashley sees me, not as a person, as a resource. Like a house is a resource. She evaluates what I provide, housing, companionship, whatever, and decides what I'm worth. And when she decided the balance was off, she told me to contribute more. Like I'm an employee who's not pulling their weight. That's not how family works, David. Family isn't transactional. It's relational. I was providing free housing because I love you and wanted to help, not because I owed you. Ashley turned that gift into an obligation and then demanded I do more. That's offensive at a level I can't ignore. She didn't mean it that way. How do you know? Did you ask her what she meant? Or are you assuming good intent because it's easier than facing that your wife is entitled? That's harsh. It's true. David, I love you. I want you to be happy. But I also want you to see reality. Ashley grew up comfortable. She's used to having things. When she couldn't afford the lifestyle she wanted, she convinced you to move in with me. Not to help me, to help herself. And when that situation didn't come with enough gratitude from me, she got resentful. That's entitlement. And until she faces it, she's going to keep creating these situations. What am I supposed to do? Decide what you can live with. Can you live with Ashley needing to feel superior, needing to be the generous one, needing everyone to acknowledge her contribution, even when she's the one benefiting? Can you spend your life managing her ego? Because that's what you're signing up for. Or you can require her to grow up, to take responsibility, to see herself clearly. That's harder, but healthier. Your choice. You're asking me to choose between my wife and my mother. No, David. I'm asking you to choose between reality and fantasy, between a healthy relationship and a dysfunctional one, between enabling Ashley or helping her grow. Your mother is fine either way. I'll survive. The question is, will you? Day 10. Deadline day. I woke up not knowing what they'd decide. Part of me hoped they'd stay. Part of me hoped they'd leave so I could have my house back and rent it for market rate. They came to me together at 6 p.m., both looking serious. We want to stay, David said. We'll pay the $2,000 a month, starting next month, and we'll sign a lease, make it official. Relief washed over me. I'm glad, but I need to be clear about terms before we proceed. We know. Lease, first and last month. Security deposit. You set the rules. We're tenants. And respect, Ashley. I need actual respect, not performative, not fake. Real respect. Can you do that? Ashley nodded. Yes, I understand now what I did. It took me too long, but I get it. This is your house. You were being generous. I was ungrateful. I'm sorry. Apology accepted. But apologies don't erase consequences. The free rent is gone. You lost that privilege. You're paying now. And if you ever suggest I should contribute financially, or imply I'm a burden, or make me feel like a guest in my own home, you're evicted. Immediately. Understand? I understand. We drew up the lease that night. 1 year. $2,400 monthly. First month, last month, and security deposit due. Immediately. $7,200. They paid it. Transferred the money from their savings. The savings they'd built living here free. It hurt them to pay it. I could see the pain on Ashley's faces as she confirmed the transfer. But they did it. And something shifted. The power dynamic. The respect level. The reality of the relationship. They weren't my son and his wife graciously living with me anymore. They were my tenants. I was their landlord. It was transactional, clear, bounded, better. The first month under the lease was the most peaceful month since they'd moved in. They stayed in their space, asked permission before having guests over, kept noise down, cleaned up after themselves, treated me like someone who could evict them, because I could. Month 2, Ashley started relaxing a bit, not reverting to entitlement, just becoming more comfortable. Started having conversations with me, asking about my day, sharing about hers, building actual relationship instead of tense coexistence. Eleanor, can I ask you something? She said one evening. Of course. Do you hate me? For what I said? For how I acted? No, I don't hate you. I'm disappointed and hurt, but not hateful. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? Really forgive me? I already have. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, doesn't mean trusting immediately, doesn't mean free rent comes back. But I've released the anger. I don't hold on to it. Life's too short. I'm trying to be better, to see myself more clearly. It's hard. Growth usually is, but it's worth it. Month 3, something unexpected happened. Ashley got a promotion, 20% raise. Suddenly their finances were less tight. They could afford the rent more easily. Breathe a little. I got promoted, she told me excitedly. Senior account manager. $15,000 more a year. Congratulations. That's wonderful. It means rent won't be as tight. We can actually save a little while paying you. Not as much as before, but something. That's how most people live, paying rent and saving what's left. You're doing fine. I realize now, living here free was an anomaly, a gift. Most people never get that. I took it for granted, I'm sorry. You're learning. That's what matters. Month 4. David approached me with an unexpected question. Mom, would you consider extending the lease past a year? We're looking at buying a house, but we need at least another year to save enough. Maybe 2. Would you let us stay that long? At the same rent? Yes, $2,400. We're comfortable with it now. Ashley's promotion helped, and we've cut other expenses. We can do it, and we'd rather stay here, where we have space and a nice neighborhood, than move to a cheaper apartment just to save a few hundred. I'll consider it. Let's see how the next few months go. If the arrangement stays respectful, I'm open to extending. Thank you. And Mom, I'm sorry for not seeing what Ashley was doing earlier, for not defending you when she made that comment, for choosing easy over right. I should have been better. You're being better now. That's what matters. Month 5, Ashley did something that surprised me. She asked if she could plant a garden in the backyard. I know I'm just a tenant, she said carefully, but I've always wanted a garden. Vegetables, herbs, maybe some flowers. Would that be okay? I'd maintain it, keep it neat, and if we move out, I'd leave it for you, or remove it if you preferred. Why do you want a garden? Honestly, therapy. My therapist suggested finding a hobby that's about creating instead of consuming, something that requires patience, care, long-term thinking. She thought it might help with my entitlement issues. You're in therapy? Since month 2, dealing with why I need to feel superior, why I devalue people, why I couldn't appreciate your generosity. It's revealing and uncomfortable, but helpful. You can have a garden. That sounds wonderful. She built the garden, spent weekends working on it, growing tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, herbs, started bringing me fresh vegetables. From our garden, she'd say, then correct herself. From the garden in your yard, that you're letting me maintain. Small shift, but meaningful. She was learning. Month 6, Ashley's mother Linda called me again. Very different tone. Eleanor, I owe you an apology. Ashley told me the truth. About the house being yours. About them living there free. About what she said. I was wrong to accuse you of being cruel. You were being more than fair. I'm sorry. Apology accepted. Ashley's been different since she moved back in. More humble. More aware. Whatever you did, whatever you said, it changed her. Thank you. I didn't do anything except require respect in my own home. The change is Ashley's. She chose it. Still, thank you. Month 12. End of the lease. David and Ashley asked to renew. Another year. Same terms. We're still saving for a house, David explained, but slower. We've got about $30,000 saved now. Need $50,000 for a good down payment. Another year should get us there. I'll renew. Same terms. But, Ashley, I need to know. Are you okay with this? With paying rent? With being a tenant? With this being my house, not yours? Yes. Genuinely, yes. This arrangement is healthier than the free situation was. Clear boundaries, no resentment. I know exactly where I stand. That's better than the weird dynamic we had before. Good. Then we'll renew. Year 2. As paying tenants was even better than year 1. They'd fully adjusted to their role, respected my space, maintained their own. We had pleasant dinners together sometimes, watched movies, talked, built actual positive relationship. You know what I realized? Ashley said one evening. Living here as a tenant is better than living here free was. Because I'm not resentful. I'm not keeping score. I'm not feeling like I owe you something or you owe me something. We have a transaction. I pay rent. You provide housing. Clean. Simple. No emotional baggage. That's very mature. It took me way too long to get here. But I'm glad I did. This is better. Month 16 of being tenants, they found a house. Small starter home. 30-minute commute from their jobs. Needed work but had good bones. They could afford it with the $50,000 down payment they'd saved. We're putting in an offer, David told me. If it's accepted, we'll move out in 2 months. Is that enough notice? More than enough. Congratulations. I'm proud of you both. We couldn't have done it without your below-market rent. We saved $13,000 a year by renting from you instead of the open market. Over nearly 2 years, that's about $24,000. That made all the difference. I'm glad I could help, and I'm glad you recognized the help this time. Their offer was accepted. They moved out 6 weeks later, left the house in perfect condition, even left the garden maintained for me. In case you want to keep it, Ashley said. It's really rewarding. You might enjoy it. I did keep it, tended it, enjoyed the fresh vegetables, thought about Ashley's growth every time I harvested. After they left, I didn't rent to anyone else. Didn't need the income. Just enjoyed having my house back, my space, my rules, my peace. But David and Ashley visited regularly, brought their daughter, my granddaughter, when she was born a year later, stayed in contact, maintained healthy relationship, and Ashley never, not once, suggested I should contribute financially to anything. She'd learned, really learned, the hard way, but thoroughly. Thank you for teaching me that lesson, she said once when visiting with the baby. About entitlement, about respect, about ownership. I needed it, even though I hated it at the time. You're welcome. You took it well. Eventually. Eventually being the key word. I was such a brat, initially. I'm embarrassed by it now. Don't be embarrassed. Be better. Which you are. That's what matters. 3 years after that contribute comment, Ashley posted something on social media that made me smile. 3 years ago, I learned an expensive lesson about respect and entitlement. Cost me thousands in rent I could have avoided. Worth every penny. Some lessons are only learned the hard way. Someone commented. What happened? Ashley replied. I disrespected my mother-in-law in her own house. She corrected me appropriately. I'm better for it. No details, no drama. Just acknowledgement, growth, maturity. That's what I'd wanted all along. Not revenge, not punishment. Just respect and the willingness to learn. Ashley got there. Took her a while, but she got there. My name is Eleanor Morrison. I'm 74 years old. 3 years ago, my daughter-in-law told me I should contribute financially because I was just living here, in my own house that I own. I charged her market rate rent. She hated it, then learned from it, then grew from it, then thanked me for it. Today we have a healthy relationship built on mutual respect. She's a good mother, a maturing person, someone who faced her entitlement and chose to change. And it all started because I refused to be disrespected in my own home. Because I knew my worth. Because I required respect. Because I understood that sometimes teaching someone means making them uncomfortable. She regretted saying I should contribute. Took her a year to fully understand why it was so wrong. But she got there. And she's better for it. And me? I'm better too. Because I stood up for myself, set boundaries, required respect, and didn't back down when it got hard. That's the lesson. Not about rent, about respect, about knowing your worth, about refusing to be diminished in your own space, about teaching people how to treat you. Share this if you've been disrespected in your own home. Comment if you've had to teach family members about respect the hard way. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of boundaries and growth. She said I should contribute since I'm just living here. I taught her whose house she was really living in, and she's better for learning it. That's everything. There's something else I need to say about this experience, something about the nature of ownership and respect that took me years to fully understand myself. When Richard and I bought this house in 1985, we were young, 32 years old, terrified of the mortgage, worried we'd made a mistake, wondering if we could actually afford it. Richard worked extra shifts. I took on side jobs. We scrimped and saved, made sacrifices, skipped vacations, drove old cars, all to make those mortgage payments, to keep our home. By the time we paid it off in 2003, we'd been in this house 18 years. Every wall had memories, every room had stories. This wasn't just property. It was our life, our effort, our sacrifice made tangible. When Richard died in 2021, this house became even more precious. It was all I had left of him, of us, of the life we'd built. Every corner held his presence. Every repair reminded me of his hands. This house was part of my heart. So when Ashley said I was just living here, when she reduced my 40 years of ownership, sacrifice, and memory to casual residence, she didn't just disrespect me. She disrespected everything Richard and I had built, everything we'd worked for, everything this house represented. That's what made it unforgivable. Not the words themselves, but what they revealed about her inability to see value beyond her own perspective, her inability to recognize that this house had meaning far beyond shelter. I don't think Ashley understood that until much later, until she and David bought their own house, until they made their first mortgage payment and felt the weight of ownership, until they fixed their first broken pipe and felt the responsibility of maintenance, until they looked at their small starter home and felt pride, despite its flaws, because it was theirs. That's when she got it, really got it. What ownership means, what it costs, what it represents. She called me the day after their first mortgage payment. "Eleanor, I need to tell you something." "I'm listening." "David and I just made our first mortgage payment, $1,400, and I felt it in my stomach. This weight, this responsibility, this reality that this payment will happen every month for 30 years, that this house is ours to maintain, ours to protect, ours to care for. And I thought about you, about your house, about 40 years of that feeling, 40 years of payments and maintenance and responsibility, and I realized what I said to you, about contributing, about just living there, and I felt sick, actually physically sick, because I had no idea, no concept of what ownership really means, what you'd invested in that house, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, everything. And I told you to contribute in the house you'd sacrificed for 40 years. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She was crying, really crying, not manipulation crying, grief crying, regret crying. I know you are, and I accept your apology. Again, you're learning. That's what matters. I wish I'd understood earlier. Wish I hadn't needed to own property to get it. Wish I'd just listened and believed you when you said it was your house. But I didn't. I had to learn the hard way, and I put you through hell to teach me. That's not okay, but you did learn, and you're teaching other people now, sharing your story, helping others avoid your mistakes. That's redemption, Ashley. Real redemption. Does it make up for what I did? Nothing makes up for what anyone does. We just move forward better, which you're doing. So yes, in the way that matters, you've made up for it. 1 year after Ashley and David bought their house, they invited me over for dinner. Small celebration. 1 year of home ownership. 1 year of mortgage payments. 1 year of learning what ownership means. Their house was lovely. Small, modest, but clearly loved. Ashley had painted, decorated, made it theirs. She was proud, visibly proud, of this small starter home that cost a fraction of what my house was worth. "This is beautiful," I told her honestly. "It's ours. That's what makes it beautiful. We chose every paint color, fixed every problem, made every decision. It's ours. Now you understand. About ownership? About what your house means to you? Yes, completely. I'm embarrassed it took me this long. But I get it now. Your house isn't just a building. It's your life's work, your marriage, your memories, your Richard. I was so shallow to reduce it to a place you were just living. You were young. You didn't know. Now you do. Now I do. And I'll never make that mistake again with anyone. About anything. Ownership matters. Sacrifice matters. History matters. I get it. 2 years after buying their house, Ashley and David had their second child, a boy. They named him Richard, after my late husband, after David's father. "If that's okay with you," Ashley said when she told me the name, "we wanted to honor him, honor what he built, the house, the family, everything he gave us by giving David a good childhood in a stable home. We want Richard's legacy to continue." I cried, happy tears, healing tears. He would have been so proud of this, of you, of all of it. I hope so. I never knew him, but I know what he left behind. The house, the values, the example of working hard and sacrificing for family. That's worth honoring. Baby Richard became a bridge between past and future, between pain and healing, between what was broken and what had been repaired. Every time I held him, I thought about my Richard, about the house he'd helped build, about the legacy he'd left, about how that legacy had almost been squandered by entitlement, but was saved by boundaries, by respect required, by growth demanded. 3 years after buying their house, Ashley started a blog, entitled No More, Lessons in Humility and Growth. She wrote about her journey, about living rent-free and not appreciating it, about demanding her mother-in-law contribute, about getting charged market-rate rent, about hating it, about learning from it, about owning her own home, and finally understanding. The blog went viral. Thousands of people resonated. Some were like Ashley, entitled people realizing they'd been wrong. Others were like me, people who'd been taken advantage of and found validation. Your story is helping people, I told her when the blog hit 50,000 followers. Our story, it's not just mine, it's yours too. Your boundary setting, your refusal to be disrespected. You're teaching me what I needed to learn. I couldn't tell this story without you. Does it bother you that thousands of people know you were entitled and wrong? It did at first, but then I realized, if my humiliation helps even one person change, it's worth it. If one entitled daughter-in-law reads this and realizes she's taking advantage of free rent, if one mother-in-law reads this and realizes she can require respect, if one family avoids the pain we went through because they learned from us, then the embarrassment is worth it. That's mature. I'm trying, every day, to be less entitled, more grateful, more aware. It's ongoing work, but necessary work. 4 years after the original contribute comment, Ashley was invited to speak at a financial literacy conference. Topic: the true cost of free rent, what I learned about value and entitlement. She asked me to come. Would you sit in the audience? I'd feel better knowing you were there. I went, sat in the back, watched her tell our story, watched her own her mistakes, watched her explain the lesson, watched people nod, take notes, ask questions. One woman raised her hand. How did your mother-in-law not hate you after you said that to her? Ashley looked at me, asked permission with her eyes. I nodded. She's here, actually. Eleanor, would you answer that? I stood. All eyes turned to me. I didn't hate her, because hate requires energy I didn't want to spend. I was disappointed, hurt, angry. But hate, no. She's young. She made a mistake. She learned from it. That's all I needed. But she lived in your house for free, and then told you to pay. How did you not hold a grudge? I did hold a grudge, for a while. But grudges are heavy, and I'm old. I don't have energy for heavy things anymore. So I put it down, set boundaries instead, required respect, made her face consequences, and then let go of the anger. That's not the same as forgetting or immediately trusting, but it's releasing the poison, for my sake, not hers. Do you regret charging her rent? Not for a second. It was the best thing I could have done, for both of us. It taught her what she needed to learn, and it taught me I could stand up for myself. Win-win. The room applauded, and I saw Ashley wiping tears. Good tears, grateful tears, healing tears. After the conference, we had lunch. Just the two of us. Thank you for coming, Ashley said. Thank you for answering that question. Thank you for being gracious when you could have been vengeful. I was never interested in revenge, just respect. Once I had that, the rest didn't matter. You're a better person than I deserve. Stop that. You've grown. You've changed. You've become someone worthy of respect. That's enough. You don't have to keep apologizing forever. Just be better going forward, which you are. I'm trying. That's all anyone can do. 5 years after the contribute comment, I sold my house. The house Richard and I bought in 1985. The house I raised David in. The house where all this drama happened. The house that meant everything. I sold it because I didn't need it anymore. Too big. Too much maintenance. Too many memories that were becoming painful Instead of comforting, time to let go. I sold it for $620,000, more than I'd expected. Used the money to buy a small condo, invested the rest, set myself up comfortably for the rest of my life. David was sad. I grew up in that house. It's weird to think of someone else living there. Houses are meant to be lived in, by people who need them. We don't need it anymore. Time to pass it on. Ashley understood better. Thank you for sharing it with us, for letting us live there, for teaching us what we needed to learn in that space. It'll always be special to us because of what happened there. Not the free rent, the growth, the lesson, the change. I'm glad something good came from it. So much good. More than you know. At my housewarming party for the new condo, Ashley gave a toast to Eleanor, who taught me the difference between ownership and residence, between entitlement and gratitude, between taking and earning. This condo is beautiful, but more beautiful is the fact that Eleanor chose it freely, not because she had to downsize, not because she couldn't maintain the house, but because she wanted to, because she can, because ownership means making choices, and Eleanor has earned every choice she makes. To Eleanor. Everyone raised their glasses, cheered, celebrated, and I felt genuinely happy, genuinely at peace, genuinely free from the weight of that house and everything it represented. I'd kept it as long as I needed it, taught the lessons that needed teaching, and now I was moving on, lighter, freer, better. 6 years after the contribute comment, present day, I'm 78 years old, living in my condo, visiting David, Ashley, and my grandchildren regularly, watching baby Richard grow, reading Ashley's blog, enjoying retirement. And Ashley? Ashley is a completely different person than she was 6 years ago. Humble, grateful, aware. She's still working on entitlement issues, still in therapy, still growing, but fundamentally different. You changed my life, she told me last month over coffee, by requiring respect, by refusing to enable, by teaching me the hard way. I'm better because you were strong. You changed your own life. I just provided the catalyst. Maybe. But without that catalyst, I'd still be entitled Ashley, still thinking the world owed me things, still taking people for granted. Instead, I'm this version, flawed still, but aware, growing, trying. That's worth everything. My name is Eleanor Morrison. I'm 78 years old. 6 years ago, my daughter-in-law told me I should contribute financially because I was just living here, in my own house that I owned for 40 years. I charged her rent. She hated it, then learned from it, then grew from it, then thanked me for it, then built a whole platform, teaching others not to make her mistakes. Today we have a healthy relationship. She's a good mother, a maturing person, someone who faced her entitlement and chose to change, someone who honors my late husband by naming her son after him, someone who understands what ownership means because she learned it the hard way. And it all started because I said no, because I required respect, because I refused to be diminished in my own home, because I understood that sometimes love means boundaries, sometimes help means consequences, sometimes the kindest thing you can do is refuse to enable. She regretted saying I should contribute. Took her years to fully understand why, but she got there, thoroughly, completely, and shared her lesson with thousands of others. That's the legacy, not the rent payments, not the conflict, but the growth, the change, the transformation from entitled to aware, from taking to giving, from demanding to appreciating. Share this if you've been disrespected in your own home and had to require respect. Comment if you've taught someone a hard lesson that changed their life. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of boundaries, growth, and transformation. She said I should contribute since I'm just living here. I taught her whose house it really was. She learned, she grew, she changed, and now she teaches others. That's everything. This morning, 6 years and 2 months after Ashley said those words, I received a message from a woman I'd never met. Eleanor, I read Ashley's blog. Your story saved my relationship with my mother-in-law. I was doing exactly what Ashley did, living rent-free, taking it for granted, getting resentful. Your story woke me up. I apologized, started paying rent. Our relationship is better than ever. Thank you for sharing your experience. I forwarded the message to Ashley. She replied, "This makes it all worth it. Every embarrassing detail, every public confession, every moment of humiliation. If we help even one family avoid our pain, it's worth it." That's the ultimate lesson. Not about rent, not about money, not about houses, about respect, about recognizing value, about appreciating generosity, about understanding that free isn't free. Someone is always paying. And when you forget that, when you take it for granted, you lose something precious. Ashley forgot, then remembered, then changed, then taught others. And me? I learned I'm stronger than I knew. That I can require respect even when it's uncomfortable. That loving someone doesn't mean accepting disrespect. That boundaries and love aren't opposites. They're partners. 6 years later, I'm at peace. Ashley's at peace. David's at peace. The grandchildren are growing up with parents who understand the value of ownership and the importance of gratitude. That's worth everything. She said I should contribute. I made her regret it. And somehow, impossibly, we're both better for it. That's everything. My name is Eleanor Morrison. My son's wife told me I should contribute since I was just living here, in my own house, that I owned for 40 years. I made her pay rent. She learned respect. She changed completely. And 6 years later, she thanks me for it. Share, comment, subscribe, and remember, never let anyone diminish you in your own home, your space, your rules, your respect required. That's everything.